Good evening. I'd like to call the September 25th regular City Council meeting to order. We stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the invocation, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, today as we gather, let us take a moment to reflect on the values of trust and prosperity. Trust is the foundation upon which we build our relationships, our communities, and our futures. Trust is the invisible thread that binds us together, allowing us to work collaboratively and support one another through life's challenges. Prosperity, on the other hand, is not just about financial success. It encompasses the well-being of our minds, bodies, and spirits. It is about thriving in all aspects of life, finding joy in our achievements, and sharing our abundance with those around us. As we continue our journey together, let us commit to fostering trust in our interactions. Let us be honest, transparent, and reliable, knowing that our integrity will pave the way for mutual respect and understanding. Let us also strive for prosperity, not just for ourselves, but for our entire community. May we support each other's dreams, celebrate each other's successes, and lend a helping hand when needed. In this spirit of trust and prosperity, let us move forward with confidence, knowing that together we can create a brighter and more fulfilling future for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. City Clerk, may we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Lamb. Councilmember Gutierrez. Councilmember Gregory.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Ross. Mayor Carnevale.
Here. Are there any changes to the agenda today?
I have no changes, Mayor.
Thank you. City Clerk, will you please read the statement of our participation?
Public comment is the opportunity for members of the public to comment on items that are within the City Council's jurisdiction but not on the agenda. Because of restrictions contained in California law, the City Council may not discuss or act on any item not on the agenda, but may briefly respond to statements made or ask a question for clarification. The mayor may also request a brief response from staff to questions raised during public comment or request that a matter be agendized for a future meeting. Public comment will be limited to 3 minutes. If you are a member of the public and you wish to address the City Council, please complete a request to speak form available at the entrance and submit it to the City Clerk. You will be called upon at the appropriate time. If you have materials or other items to present to the members of the City Council, please do not approach them. All materials shall be presented to the City Clerk for distribution. Mayor, I do have a couple of residents that have requested to speak. So the first speaker is David Sanchez.
Come on up, David.
Come on up to the podium and state your name for the record.
Pull that microphone down. There you go.
David Sanchez. I'm a local resident of Cathedral City. I'm here to speak about certain things that I haven't seen no improvement. Number one, code enforcement. All they do is just drive in the beautiful air conditioning trucks around town. I see issues around the street. They don't stop by and go knock on the door or leave a warning or whatever. That's number one. Number two, there's a lot of trash issues. House not kept up to code. Then again, that's what I'm here for. City sweeper comes every 6 weeks. Not sure, every 4 to 6 weeks. Like I said, there's so many cars on the street. All they do is zigzag. I mean, literally on my street where I live in Maravilla, which is a very traffic street. The other day, literally, I had to get a broom and I had to sweep the sidewalk because there's a lot of leaves. And what I did is I made a little bunch right and left on the people's driveway. Obviously, they probably saw it, picked it up, and not the next few days, a sweeper picked it up. I mean, I've been a city resident for what, 40-some years, almost 50 years, since I was a kid. Like I said, yeah, everything, I seen the city grow, but like I said, I almost feel like I live in India or Coachella, really. I mean, everybody wants a prettier city, I mean, literally, there was issues after the rain, and I came and complained, nobody ever listened. I came to the code enforcement, nothing. They said I had to go to somewhere else. What I did is I went and knocked on their people's doors. And I told them, you know what, that trash doesn't look good there. That dirt doesn't look good there. I have videos. I mean, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but this gentleman right over here to your left, or to your right, I told him about it. And, you know, obviously, of course, he's just one guy. You know, you know what they say, shit rolls downhill. It just happens to be at the bottom of it. And excuse my language. But, you know, literally everybody wants a pretty city. Everybody wants to raise taxes. But, you know, we're not about raising taxes. I mean, every homeowner here in Cathedral City makes between $50, $60, maybe tops $100,000 a year. I mean, I read, because I've been getting a little more educated, that some of these people's salaries, I'm not going to say who, but in the city, they make more than that a year for retirement. I mean, do you think that's fair? Do you think it's fair that I will make $400,000 in retirement after I retire, for me to sit on my cushy butt at home, while these people at home, they're working their butts off, gardening, cleaning pools, whatever, and they're only making $50,000 to $60,000? My daughter's a college graduate. She only makes $85,000 to $90,000. 5 years in college, over $100,000 in debt. I'm not asking to raise the debt. I'm asking.
Yeah, unfortunately, you passed your 3 minutes. I gave you a little bit more. But if you leave your number with the city clerk, I'll contact you and we can continue this discussion.
Okay.
All right, and I promise you I'll do that if you just leave the number with city clerk.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
The next speaker is Jens Mueller.
You're a man after my heart. Good evening, Council. David's correct. We have employees making over $400,000 a year. And in a city with only $60,000 medium income, it is a sin that you five want to raise our taxes. You voted 5-0 to raise our taxes. I mean, what are we paying you for? David, what are we paying them for? $30,000, $40,000 a year, you get health insurance on top of that, we pay your health insurance, and then when you retire, we pay you a pension. And what thanks do we get? A rubber stamp, right, Nancy? You rubber stamp a 5-0 tax increase. You five are in the back pocket of police and fire, aren't you? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Police and fire. Chief, how much am I paying you? $350,000, Chief? Right? With all the pensions and stuff. Jonathan Enos, police commander, $342,000. You know, I just came from a city in Yucaipa. I came from Yucaipa. Similar sized city, 54,000 people live there. They have a budget. They have a budget of $36 million. And I'm driving down Wildwood, I believe, and they have a community park there the size of Palm Desert's community park. Gorgeous. They have a Parks and Rec department for the children. We don't even have a Parks and Rec department in this city. How much do we make a year? $69 million we bring in. And we don't even have a Parks and Rec. Didn't you five vote for some kind of a dog park right over here? For $1 million for a dog park. Oh heavens, we need another dog park. Well, what about the kids in the city? What about them? We can no longer, and maybe the citizens will get that, we can no longer afford our own police and fire. You five know that. It's your job to look after us, the taxpayer. but you didn't on this 5-0 vote. I'm urging all citizens to vote no on W. They have a $20 million budget for police and fire. How much is ours? $34 million. That's $14 million that you just said, we don't need it. We want to have our own police and fire. $14 million we could be saving having our own police and fire. They have a bigger city, same amount of citizens, and they outsource their police and fire. You have failed the citizens of this city. All 5 of you have failed. Congratulations.
Thank you for that information. Okay.
I don't have any other request to speak forms, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment at this time, please raise your hand. And I see no hands raised, Mayor.
Okay, we're going to move on to council reports. Right now, we're going to start with Councilmember Gutierrez.
Mine's a little short. Since we last met, I attended the Coachella Valley Association of Governments Committee meeting, or Conservation Committee meeting, in which we authorized the acquisition of 11 lots totaling 141 acres to be protected and preserved. I also attended the All Valley Mayors and Tribal Leaders Luncheon, in which all my colleagues attended, and our mayor did a great job speaking there. And I almost shed a tear. I missed the Agnes Pelton open house. Mayor, thank you for attending that. Almost shed a tear for that. Yeah. I also attended the swearing-in ceremony for several of our police officers here, and well-deserved. Rick Sanchez was promoted to deputy chief. Congratulations. And Hanley also was promoted to Commander Andy Diaz, and we also have 2 additional police officers. Congratulations. And let's see, I also had a meeting with our city manager to go over tonight's agenda, and we also talk about other issues within the city, issues that residents or other people bring about. I also talked to our city manager regarding a resident which called me regarding speeding vehicles on Whispering Palms. He's taking care of it. He talked to our city engineer and see what we can do about it. There's some plans that are coming to Whispering Palms, and hopefully that will control or reduce the speeding vehicles on that street. I also received a phone call regarding illegal food vendors within our city. I forwarded that to our city manager as well, and the issue was resolved. And I also drove around and I spotted several illegal food vendors, which I also forwarded to our city. It seems like during the summer they tend to come up again. A lot of illegal food vendors, which is fruit vendors that come about. Hopefully that they'll get the idea that we are trying to run the city properly, and there is permits to be issued if they follow the right protocol. And tomorrow I'll be attending, also I'll be volunteering for our local food bank in India, and I will report as to what we did over there. And that concludes my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody who's here. It's a pretty booming voice. I'll just talk a little louder. So I am sorry that I missed the last meeting. I have never missed a council meeting, but I was way too sick to join you. I did work from home as able, and I'm glad to be back with you. And I am thankful for all of the kind notes and calls I've had for a speedy recovery. Over the last several weeks, and for the next 5 weeks, I have been, with the amazing help from my husband Bob and our friend and Commissioner Antonio Beishu, who's with us tonight, we have been hosting community parties to introduce Police Fire and Measure W. Unlike our previous speaker, I support a 1/2 cent tax increase and what it can do for our city. We have been to the Canyon and Desert Sands with Date Palm Country Club, Royal Palms, Caliente Sands, and Sungate to follow. We provide lunch, we bring them all together, and we talk about what police and fire are doing. So there's lots of Q&A there, and then we describe what Measure W is, and we encourage them to look into it themselves. At each of these events, as I said, we're joined by a member of the police union and the firefighters union. They are the real showstoppers for sure, and they get so many questions that people there learn more than they ever thought they would. It's also time from here from people who have problems, issues, ideas, and suggestions. Oddly enough, that's one of my favorite things to do because it really gives you an opportunity to help somebody. If everybody just keeps slapping each other on the back and telling you how good everything is, you know, there's no growth, there's no success. But we get to hear from people who say, I need help, and, you know, glad to be there to do it. Being out in the public in a large way is wonderful, and I'd forgotten, lost in meetings and reading agendas for several commissions, how much I enjoyed being with our residents. But I will make a stronger effort moving forward. I hope I'll get a chance to meet with you too soon. I am attending the Salton Sea Geothermal 3-day symposium in a couple of weeks, including a full day on site at the lithium production event and a plant, and I can't wait to learn about it, and I'll bring back what I learned. Tomorrow I leave for Oregon to spend the weekend with a group of 4 women. We all raised children of the same age as mine. We spent thousands of hours together. We became family. One of those family members is battling cancer, and we are all going to spend the weekend at a beach house we've gone to many times. This has reminded me, as tragedy often does, how important those close to us really are. We cannot take life for granted. Take time to call, visit, or travel with those most important to you. You will never regret the time spent together. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you, Mayor Carnevale, for leading us this evening.
Thank you. Sorry about your friend.
Thank you.
Councilmember Gregory.
Thank you, Mayor, and I just want to make sure I start off by thanking our staff and our police and our fire for the great job that they do, and assure them that most of the residents see that and realize that. And I'm sorry at these meetings you have to hear from this vocal minority that somehow want to speak against you when you're out there doing your best every day for us here in the city. And I just wanted to start off by thanking you. Has been a sort of a busy couple of weeks. I just have a couple of items. Most of them have already been mentioned. I did also, along with my colleagues, attend the All Valley Mayors and Tribal Leaders Summit in Indian Wells. And again, I would echo the comments about our mayor doing a great job representing our city and speaking about all of the great things happening in Cathedral City and making sure that all of the people in the valley are aware of that. And I also did attend the swear-in ceremony for Deputy Chief Sanchez and Commander Hanley and others, including 2 new police officers in the police force. And congratulations again to you, and thank you for all that you continue to do for our city. I did get an opportunity to meet with several residents, including one in the audience, Ari Knox here. I had a nice chat with him. You're going to have the opportunity to hopefully approve him for the Historical Preservation Commission in our consent agenda, and I know he's going to be a great addition to our city family. And I also attended the joint meeting of the Coachella Valley Association of Governments, Public Safety, and Homelessness Committees. I happened to sit on both of those, so although the 2 committees were meeting jointly, I sat in both seats. And I do want to thank both our police chief, our deputy police chief, and our fire chief. They were all in attendance, and to listen and contribute as appropriate to this discussion. The majority of the discussion had to do with whether there was value in CVAG coming up with some type of joint ordinance in dealing with homeless, mostly had to do with contacts and encampments. That was the discussion. And so we were all able to contribute. There was some discussion there about what they were calling good neighbor policies, where when cities do need to work with the homeless and for some reason need to move them for services or move them on request to another city, or they go to the hospital or something, to work out some type of a method where we could share that information with the other cities, and of course not be moving people just to get them out of the city, which I don't believe anyone does. But often when people do get moved and then they get asked by the other city as to why you're here, they might say, oh, well, the police drove me over. They forget to mention the part that they asked to be driven over for some reason. So we spoke about the value of having the cities have some way of communicating those movements with each other, so that if there were people that they were wanting to get in contact with or had problems, that they would know that they're in their city, and then they would know why they were placed there. And we would know the same thing when people are moved over into our city. So I think things like that, it seemed like had some value, and I hope they'll keep working on. Trying to come up with a uniform ordinance, that kind of, in my opinion, fell a little flat. There's no reason to create new laws and then ticket the homeless. It kind of is a misdirection of the efforts, in my opinion. There were some cities that felt, though, that CVAG should develop some type of model ordinance or have different sectors that they think cities should look at. So, of course, we'll participate in that. And if there is something in there that we in our public safety departments feel have some value, of course, we'll bring those back, but that'll be an ongoing effort. So that was widely covered in both the television and the print news, although somehow some of the direction of what the meeting actually was didn't necessarily come across in the news. So, of course, we continue to work with our partners in CVAG. Homelessness is a regional issue, so we'll continue to put efforts into that, but it remains to be seen how much of an actual, some ordinance suggestions, how much value that's going to have for our city. So I'll continue to update you as that moves along. And then last Thursday and Friday, Thursday evening and all day Friday, I did attend the Mobility 21 Summit. It was held in Anaheim this year. It's a event I usually attend. It's a summit of all of the county transportation commissions and other regional partners that deal with transit and transportation. It has an opportunity to meet all of these different people in these different sectors, but also to attend some classes and seminars. I focused on ones on artificial intelligence and new technology and transportation. This year, I kind of shunned some of the policy ones. And it was very interesting, and it was very good to be able to meet and discuss about regional transportation. You all know that I serve as your representative on the Riverside County Transportation Commission, so it was really in conjunction with that assignment that I attended. Again, that was last Thursday evening and Friday. And that's it for me. I do want to remind everyone that we do have winter rehabilitation going on in our parks. So if you are planning to use one of our parks, please be respectful of the grass. The grass needs an opportunity to get started and going, so they ask that you stay off the grass, and please plan ahead for that. The dog park in Panorama is closed right now. We'll be back open for the Halloween costume contest the weekend before, on the Saturday before Halloween actually occurs. So put that on your calendar, but please be respectful of our parks while they're getting rehabilitated. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Gregory. Councilmember Lamb.
Thank you so much. And I too wanted to mention about the Agnes Pelton House and the Open House. And that is on Chuparosa Lane. And Chuparosa Lane is a wonderful display of authentic art from the community. And it's been the site of lots of activities and events throughout the years. But the Agnes Pelton House, it's the first residence in Cathedral City that has historic designation, and then we had a plaque for that. So it was really a great event, and it talked about the artwork that was sold that was Agnes Pelton's that became seed money for the Desert Arts, which is a Coachella Valley commitment to the arts. So I'm very appreciative of that. And Mayor Mark Carnevale was great and did a great job. It was wonderful, but it was outside fun. And if you haven't been to Chuparosa Lane, take a walk down there. It's lots of fun. I did attend the International Day of Peace, and that celebration was on September 21st, which is a global initiative and day that was designated in 1981 by the United Nations. And it was a great event, and Mayor Mark Carnevale was there. And Karen Riley and Bob McKechnie and Sue Townsley was not able to be there, but they, because of their efforts, Cathedral City is designated as the International City of Peace, one of only 400, so it was wonderful. And the special speaker was Commander Hanley, who just raised your hand. He just did a fantastic job and really gave an overview to a huge crowd about the efforts that Cathedral City has, not only in protecting our residents, but in engaging the community in what's going on with the community. So that was so appreciative. And Bob McKechnie and Karen Riley's pitches, we hope for global peace, but it really is an inside job. It begins with us. So thank you for that reminder of that message. And the following evening, Karen Riley and Bob McKechnie were there. We were at Desert Hot Springs because AMVETS had an event for peace, and AMVETS was recognized and given a proclamation by the city of Cathedral City, recognizing the volunteerism from AMVETS who drive veterans from our Cathedral City parking lot to Loma Linda. And our Cathedral City Fire Department lot is the starting place for all that. So that cooperation is much appreciated, and it was recognized, and everybody got to hear about how fabulous our fire and police chief is. So thank you. And I also wanted to, I attended the La Quinta State of the City. In the little over 5 years that I've been on council, I haven't attended any of the other ones, and I finally wanted to get out there and see, what's happening. So we sat at a table and heard all about the great things La Quinta is doing. But the even better, I got to sit with Eric Besserell, Adam Chastain, and Victor Gomez and their wives, who are all Cathedral City employees and spouses, and we had a great chat and got to know each other a little bit better. And Eric is the new Director of Economic Engagement, so it was lovely to get him to know him a little bit better. And then, for those of you that don't have a place to exercise all your energies and want to be more involved, I get this publication, as many of us do, from the Cathedral City Boys and Girls Club, and it has an overview of all the unbelievable things they do for the youth in our community who take part in that group. And I wanted to recognize and say out loud, the 2023 Youth of the Year is Christy Quintanilla, and they in her proclamation, honoring extraordinary young people for their achievements in leadership, service, academic excellence, and dedication to living a healthy lifestyle. And she is a graduate of Cathedral City High School. Then they had this whole group, Leaders in Training. And Cara Robinson, who's the wife of Scott Robinson, who runs the Boys and Girls Club, they took a group of students, leaders, to South Africa. And it was just an amazing experience. They went to Johannesburg, the Kruger National Park, and Nelson Mandela's home, and then 5 days at the Boys and Girls Club in South Africa. And I want to read you this quote. It was in this magazine from this young student who happened to go there. I learned that we can live with other groups of people, like in South Africa. I'd like to bring back with me the ability to accept people, no matter where they come from. Diego. In this book, it also talks about the different ways community groups help the Boys and Girls Club, and they mentioned the Palm Springs Corvette Club, who has donated over $100,000 over the years to the Boys and Girls Club. And I was lucky enough to attend the Riverside County Date Festival, and representing Cathedral City, and they have volunteer drivers, and I got to ride in this Corvette with the head of the Corvette Club. So, I mean, how great is that? But I didn't know that they were so involved with the Boys and Girls Club and sustaining so many of these programs. So that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. As mentioned, I attended the All Valley Mayors and Tribal Luncheon with the council and staff, and I truly like to apologize for not being able to attend the oath of officers for the newly sworn commanders and officers chief. I apologize for not being here. Commander Sanchez and Hanley, I apologize, but I had an appointment that I just couldn't not have. But congratulations, and please forgive me for not being here. Thank you. I attended Thursday night. I went to a marriage rehearsal for Friday that I married a couple at Desert Princess, and that was really, really exciting. You know, it was a beautiful day, a little windy at first, but So I was really blessed to be able to do that. Sunday, I attended along with Councilmember Lamb the International Day of Peace, the Senior Center, and Commander Hanley did speak that day, and I was really worried for you because you started off slow, man. I'm going, where is he going with this? And I got to tell you, when you finished, it was amazing, the feeling in that room and the words that you said there. I think you touched everybody's heart. Thank you. I got goosebumps. I mean, it was very well put together. Thank you for that. You represented the chief very, very well. And then, let's see, this Monday I'll be going to attend the CBAG executive meeting on Monday. And then I'll be speaking with, Andy and myself will be speaking with a businessman on Ramon about extending his business. I received numerous calls about cannabis odor around some areas, and Charlie has been working on it. It's really difficult to pinpoint it where it comes, but the complaints, I assure them we're working on it with code compliance. Then next week we'll be attending the Palm Springs Unified School District Legislative Breakfast. And for those who are interested, the Senior Center will be having a ribbon cutting and dedication for Ann and Richard Altman. It should be pretty exciting. I think that's this Wednesday, 6 o'clock, if I'm not mistaken. And then I got to do a shout out to DJ Sports Bar. I don't know if any of y'all heard about it, but it's the old beer hunter in front of Food for Less. So I stopped in there Sunday with Rhonda to have a smash burger, because David, the owner, said they were the best smash burgers in the valley. And I got to tell you, you got to have the double smash burger there and a cold beer, and you'll be happy. But they're doing a very good job there. I think he'll do very well. It's put together very nice in there. So if you get a chance to stop in, tell him that you heard it here at Cathedral City. And that's all I have. So we're going to move along right now. City Clerk, will you please read the consent agenda?
Item number 3A is waive full reading of ordinances on agenda. Item number 3B is to approve the September 11, 2024 study session and regular city council minutes. Item number 3C is to receive and file the check demand of August of 2024. Item number 3D is to provide second reading by title only and adopt an ordinance adopting specific plan amendment 98-55-A to the Uptown Village specific plan. Item number 3E is to accept the resignation of Peter Bedard from the Historic Preservation Committee effective immediately and direct staff to proceed with filling the vacant seat. Item number 3F is to ratify the nomination of Erie Knox by Councilmember Raymond Gregory to fill an unexpired term on the Historic Preservation Committee and appoint him to serve for a term continuing through June 30th of 2025. Item number 3G is to approve a special use permit for the annual Virgin de Guadalupe procession. And item number 3H is to approve the Public Arts Commission request to spend $513.48 from the commission budget for display boards for future art exhibits. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council? Seeing none, do we have any public comment?
I do not have any request to speak forms for any of the items on the consent agenda, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide comments, please raise your hand. I see no
I
hands
move to
raised.
approve, Mayor.
Have a second?
So now we did it a little bit different than what was vocalized, so.
I think Councilman Mayor Pro Tem,
It's absolutely fine. It just passed. That's the important thing.
I can clear it out. So
Yeah,
we'll
not on my
have-
account.
Mayor Pro Tem Ross made the motion, and Councilmember Gregory made the second. Please vote. Councilmember Ross, can you please vote? And the motion carries all ayes.
thank you. There are no public hearings. We'll go to legislative actions. Special use permit on the 2024 Fields of Valor. May we have a staff report, please, Mr. City Manager?
Thank you. This event is coming up in November, as it always does. Ryan Hunt will give the presentation.
Thank you, City Manager. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members, good to be with you again to talk about Fields of Valor, which I think is in its 17th year in some form or capacity. It was formerly known as Healing Fields, but they're applying again for a special use permit for November of 2024. And the Cathedral City Evening Rotary is the lead organizer of the event. Mitch King, Karen Riley, Joanne Kennan. I believe Mitch and Karen are here behind me, and they'll be here to answer any specific questions that you have about this year's event. But it's a really moving tribute. I've been a part of it, just shooting video the last couple of years and helping with promotion to honor the fallen soldiers from California who served in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Vietnam. And so the dates would be November 8th through the 15th, Patriot Park, with about 150 plus projected attendees. So what kind of goes into this event, which is, I believe Mitch has a meeting right after this about surveying the flag locations, which takes place in late October, installing the rebar pipe for each flag display and mounting the flags, which will take place on November 8th. And then the opening ceremony will be Saturday, November 9th at 9 a.m. And that's the only ceremony this year. So kind of going back to the basics a little bit, opening ceremony, and then it'll be the static flag display that you can see lit up at night, or if you wanted to go into the park and kind of check out all the flags, that'll be between opening, and it should just say after opening ceremony. There is no closing ceremony this year in 2024, and Monday, November 11th is Veterans Day. I just wanted to point that out. So event organizers are once again seeking in-kind support. That's mostly from Public Works, Cathedral City Fire Department, Cathedral City Police. I actually had a really good conversation yesterday, as has Adam Chastain, my events and recreation coordinator, with Chief Crum and Chief Contreras, to let you all know we have a detailed list of staff requests, when people are wanted, what's desired there. So we'll be able to provide that for you in the next week or so. And previous years, the total expense for Public Works in kind has been a little more than $3,000, and Cathedral City Evening Rotary event organizers are once again asking the City Council to sponsor the SUP application fee that is now $618, previously $510, but with the new fees going into effect on July 1st, that's been boosted a little bit more. So I'm not making any recommendation on any of the sponsorship proposals. That's up to you all as a council. I'm just going to simply recommend that we approve the special use permit to allow Fields of Valor to occur at Patriot Park from November 8th to November 15th. And with that, I'm available for questions, as are Karen Riley and Mitch King. So with that, I'll open it up to any questions that you have.
Council members? Anyone?
So as a sponsor of the in-kind, is Cathedral City going to be listed as a sponsor or otherwise prominently displayed in the literature and signage?
Hi, how are you? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you right.
So Cathedral City is being asked to be an in-kind sponsor, so we've been asking those that make that request that we be listed prominently in the literature and or signage at the event. I assume so. I think we have in the past, even though we haven't, but I'm trying to make sure I'm consistent with everyone that asks for that.
Yeah, everybody thinks it's a city event anyhow. I mean, it's just
Yes.
because of where it is, but we'll definitely list the city in helping us with the event.
Thank you so much. And I'll ask my fellow council members, does anyone want to go in with me and help cover the $618 out of your community assistance funds? So we have one taker here.
I'll come in for a third.
So we have three. So
Okay, we can quarter it.
So
We can quarter it. If there's four
want
of
to
us.
also?
He's coming in, I'll come in, you too.
And I've already donated 5 out of my discretionary money.
You have? Well, that's for other stuff. So the rest of the 4 of us will split, so we'll cover your the rest of that fee. So
All you need to do is each of you send an email to Kevin Biersack authorizing that, and that's all that needs to happen.
all right. It'd be nice if Kevin would send us an email, say, do you authorize this? And then we can all just say yes. So, because we'd have to do math to split it into 4. Thank you, Kevin.
Hey, Mitch, did I donate $500 for the golf tournament, or was it the Fields of Valor? Do you know, Karen? I got to find out. If I didn't, I'll cut in with this here. I got to talk to Joanne on that.
Yeah, I don't know, but you always help us out, so,
Okay.
Mayor,
You bet.
appreciate it.
No, we appreciate you, what you do. It's a long day. It's a lot of work. Appreciate the police department, fire department being involved.
Yeah, those guys are great. We love them having them there, Mayor, and they do a great job for us.
Okay. Any
Any other
questions?
Thanks.
All right, public comment? Are you through there, or
No, I'm good.
you're
Yeah.
good? Any public comment?
I don't have any requests to speak forms for this item, but if you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand. I see no
May I have a
hands
motion
raised.
and a second, please.
Move approval. We'll see what Tracy heard.
So I have a motion by Councilmember Gregory and a second by Councilmember Lamb.
Work?
Councilmember Lamb, oh, there you go.
I think we got it.
And the motion carries all ayes.
Okay, thank you. Item B, approve $2,125,000, no, $2,125. Ooh, yeah.
$2 million.
And Judge Sharp. Oh, boy, we're going to,
That's
for
a
that.
go.
Thought I hit the jackpot.
Mr. City Manager, can you just get me straight, and do we have a staff report on this?
Yes, this is a request to approve you already approved the Ocotillo Bench project several meetings ago, and the Arts Commission actually already selected the artists to do it. They selected 2 alternates. There was a miscount. There's 2 additional benches that need to be done, so this is the authorization to do that and to adjust the funding accordingly. And John will go over whatever I didn't say on that.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council members. City Manager did a good job, so the public sees what we're approving. So approving a little over $2,000 in additional funding to add 2 benches to the park project. So just to recap, April 24th, you approved funding from the Art and Public Places Fund for the Ocotillo Bench project. August 14th, you approved the PAC recommended art and artists for the Ocotillo Bench project. So with that said, there are 2 available benches that were thought to be part of the actual skating park, the skate park, and they're not. So the PAC was looking that we can actually provide some consistency in the park and paint those as well too. The 2 alternates that were presented and approved back in August was alternate 1 by Kathy Brown Preston Sparks. That's a rendering of what they're proposing to do. And then alternate number 2 from Carlos Cardosa, and that's representative of our 3 cathedrals. Different take on it. So once again, the fiscal impact is $500 for each bench. As you saw in the staff report, the priming and ceiling originally was for just the bench seat and the back area. Once the vendor actually saw that it was for the whole entire bench, it was rebid out, and so proposals were secured, and the increase was $1,125, and that'll cover all the benches. So the additional PAC request is $2,125, $2,100,000.
Oh, you're a funny guy.
We're going to miss you.
This fall into our strategic plan goal, and the recommendation is in your staff report.
Okay,
Mayor,
Council.
back to you.
Thank you. Council, any comments, questions?
No.
Okay. Any public comment?
I do not have any requests to speak forms for this item. If you're a member of the public and you wish to provide public comment, please raise your hand. And I don't see any, Mayor.
Do I have a motion and a second? Yeah.
I'm not being associated with the $2 million bench project.
So we have a motion by Councilmember Gutierrez and a second by Councilmember Lamb, and the motion carries all ayes.
Okay, thank you. Discussion regarding the implementation of an administrative policy related to the handling of public comments received via email, letter, or other forms of communication for City Council, Commission, and committee meetings. Mr. City Manager, do we have a staff report?
Yes, thank you. Tracy's going to present this item. after discussing this over the last few weeks, we came to the conclusion that it's going to be better to have a written policy so that everybody knows how everything's going to be treated and everybody's treated the same in regards to that. So Tracy will go over this for you, and then we're just asking if you have any questions, comments, or observations on that, and then we'll go ahead and issue the policy based on that discussion. Tracy.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem, and Council. As Charlie indicated, staff evaluated our practices related to how we handled written public comments that were received for council meetings and commission and committee meetings. As staff discussed the implementation with the city attorney, and his recommendation was to implement some form of policy to ensure transparency of the written comments that were received, that the process be available on the city's website so that individuals know what the process is, and to include written comments into the record if it was related to a public hearing item. His recommendation was not to read the written comments during the meeting, but to provide them to the members of the body and have them available for public access. I myself surveyed the local cities in the Valley, and I received responses from most of them, not all of them. The responses were that none of them had a formal policy. They just followed their best practices. All of them distribute written comments if received prior to an established deadline. And then they all provide the members with a copy of the comments, and then they also have public access in some format. All make written comments part of the record by including them in the minutes. One city indicated that they received a comment from an individual, state their name and what their position is, whether it be on an item or something that's going on in the city. None of them read into the record those received written comments. The proposed policy that staff has come up with is that staff will continue to receive written public comments until 2 p.m. on the day of the relevant meeting, whether it's city council or the commissions or committees. Instructions for submission of written comments will be provided on each agenda for the city council, commissions, and committees respectively. We will distribute hard copies of written comments to the members of the bodies, whichever it may be. And then copies will also be made available for the general public to review. So tonight we actually have that in place for the first time, and we have a binder back there that has whatever written comments that were received for the general public, plus we've provided them to council. For record keeping, the comments will be made part of the record, of the official record, and the minutes will include the name of the individual submitting the comment and a brief statement summarizing the content of the comment. We're proposing not to read the comments into the record during the council meeting. Okay. This policy will ensure transparency for the public comment process. It also establishes a standardized process for all council, commission, and committee meetings. It allows sufficient time for staff to process and distribute comments before the meetings. It maintains a clear record of public input for future reference, and it aligns with common practices of other cities in the Coachella Valley. And it also improves meeting efficiency by not reading all comments aloud. And that is it. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Mayor Pro Tem?
I do. I don't agree. Nothing personal. I don't agree. I think reading people's written letters into the record during a meeting is sometimes the best they can do to not be here. They can't come, but they want their feelings to be read and heard. I believe that is our job, is to come to council, invite the public, and share what everybody thinks about things. And because you can't come, you might have a job, you might have small children, whatever the case is, I hate to see that not being shared with the general public in time. So I understand that later you could go back and look at the record and you could find it and you could look it up. But you know, my dad used to have this expression. He said, you know, we don't put the dog on your back. You know, it's our job to educate the public as far as city council work goes. So I would like to see those still read into the record so that it's in time, it's available, and those who are watching us on TV can see it. Thank you.
Okay, anyone? Oh. Raymond's, okay, Councilmember Gregory.
So I'm sure all of us, of course, believe that it's very important to hear from the public, and we encourage the public to come and to speak and to share with us. And those that cannot, we encourage them to send us well-written and articulated comments that we can then, again, review, and people that are here at the meeting can actually see. But the value of someone coming and speaking, of course, is that we can see directly from them. We can hear their emotion. They can alter their ideas after they've heard the presentation, those types of things. And so it is much more valuable when somebody comes and gives public comment in person, I believe. But if they cannot, I still believe that it's important that we are able to hear from them, but I think it's kind of ridiculous that a staff member then has to become their voice and to read their written word verbally when we are the decision makers here, and we're going to have the comments, and as we've had here all along, we'll have them in front of us. I know all of us will take the time to review them. They'll be out there available to the public. If somebody that's here in the meeting wants to echo those comments, they'll certainly be welcome to. But I think it's just not a good practice to have that come in staff's voice. And it also can be disruptive to the meeting. Some people have been using it to try to come in and express legal opinions or to have longer comments than what they would normally be allowed. And so while I would agree with my colleague that it's important that we hear those comments, I think this practice that has kind of just come up organically after COVID, that if somebody asks, that we will read their comments verbally, or we'll have staff read their comments verbally when they're written there right in front of us, is just kind of ridiculous. So I think that this policy is very important. I'm glad that it's being formalized. I'm glad that we're recognizing the importance, besides what's in state law, but the importance to the city as to public comments, and that we're letting everyone know so they have a reasonable expectation. But on the issue of having them verbally read by staff, I think that the recommendation is the correct way to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Gutierrez.
I have to agree with Councilmember Gregory. I believe that we have a very accommodating as a city, especially during COVID, and our staff has been extremely accommodating as well, reading records or comments into our records. So I believe that by actually getting this formally approved, I think is the best practice. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. You know, we've never discouraged anyone from giving us messages, letters. We get emails, all of us get emails. If the message they want to put out to us, they're putting it out to us. If they want us to read their message to the public, I think, you know, a second party reading their words would not be the same as theirs. And I think you're opening a can of worms by the person that would write it saying, well, you didn't read it with much enthusiasm. So I think you're opening a can of worms that it wouldn't do the person that writes the letters much justice. We get the letters. We got a couple today. You know, we read them. We understand them. I think you put a couple out there so the public could see them if they're interested in them. But I totally agree. I think the process that we mentioned here, we should just go forward with that. Okay.
I agree with the recommendation as presented. Thank you.
So, Mayor, just because I neglected to say what the recommendation is, this is an administrative policy that is presented for your review and comments. No formal action is required of the City Council. If there is a consensus, which is what I see this evening, the City Manager is going to sign off on the administrative policy, and it is exactly the one that was in the packet with the edits having the written comments included. City Manager will sign off on it. It will be distributed to staff, and then it will be included on the city website, and then we will start incorporating the instructions on all the agendas as soon as we're able to get those templates corrected.
Then I would just like to reach out to the city attorney. You've investigated this thoroughly. There's no state, federal regulations of freedom of speech and all that. I mean, so we're good to go on this, correct?
No local, state, or federal prohibition on mandate to read public comments. They have to be made available to the public. They have to be made available to you. The concern that I've had over the years is it puts the city clerk or member of staff in a position to have to read somebody's comment that may get shut off because they're reading past in at the normal public speaking time, so they might not get all of their data. And it is increasingly complex to deal with public hearings. We frequently get large amounts of documents in public hearings, and if there was a policy that required to read all of that material, it would take hours to do that. Certainly, we make that part of the record, the access, the SUA system, the record, and all that, but it does put a substantial burden on your staff at the city to read those. Not to dissuade people from sitting these things, absolutely they should.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Any more questions from council or comments? Public comment? Or no, wait, did you have something to say? Or?
No, I was just going to say, I don't know if anyone in the public or in the chambers tonight has any comments on this item, but I did receive one public comment via email, which was distributed to council this evening from Mr. Coslow. So I will just, for the record tonight, indicate that he did indicate support for a policy, but he does support having the comments read into the record as submitted.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
and then I'll go put on my other hat.
Okay. Thank you, Tracy.
So if there's any member of the public, okay, on this item? Okay, come up to the podium, and if you don't mind stating your name again for the record.
David Sanchez, on what this lady said about reading people's comments and all that, I agree to that, but also, how are these people going to get here if you guys don't invite them? I mean, I never got an invite for this. I got an invite from my brother-in-law years ago. I never attended. I got an invite from Ernesto to attend to these meetings, but I see how you guys send you flyers to the home every now and then when you're asking for votes, but you never ask the public to attend to any of the council meetings. That's what I have to say. Thank you.
Well, I'm going to invite you to come to every one from this point on. We'd love to see and hear from you, honestly. I'm not trying to be funny, but we're open, the doors are open, and we welcome the
Yeah, but you got to tell the public to come in. You got to,
So the clerk publishes the agenda, and she even has an email list you could sign up for, and she would send you an email of every agenda.
No, but I'm not saying about that. When you send that email or the flyer or all that, just say, can you please attend city council meetings? That way you can know what's going on in your city.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do I have, oh no, we don't have to act on this, correct? Okay. Let's see. Yep. City manager, you have the...
We have the direction we need on that, and we'll get that right out.
Okay, thank you. Anybody want to bring up anything for the future study sessions or anything? Okay. Well, the next regular meeting will be October 9th. Where are these months going? 2024. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
6:30, there's got to be a record.
We get all the work done, yeah.